we're beginning to enter the slow months when it comes to Toronto real estate, and especially when it comes to Toronto condos. Now, what does that mean for prices and what does that mean for rents? Find all that and more in this video. My name is Gabriele Battista from Homes into Reality. I'm a Toronto real estate agent with a passion of helping young people getting into home ownership. And I do that through education every single week on helping first-time buyers learn about the Toronto real estate market and learning about that first-time buying process. And this week we're talking about Toronto condos, specifically in the month of October, now that the numbers are out. We're going to be going over different numbers to rent and buy, different types of Toronto layouts, studios, 1 bedrooms, 1+ dens, and 2 bedrooms, and see how those trends have changed over time. And if you're excited to hear about Toronto condos, give me a like, give me a subscribe, comment what you want to see more of. Happy to hear some feedback. And if you think my services as a real estate agent are helpful to you, if you're a first-time buyer, first-time renter, or anything in between, feel free to give me a shout in the description. My phone number, my email, and a link to book a call with me are below, so I'm happy to touch base and answer any questions that you may have. Let's jump right into the content. We're going to be going over the renting numbers first, from studios to 2 bedrooms, and go over the trends that we're seeing currently in October. Let's start with our entry-level condo, which is our studio condo. Again, the big box in the sky, not a huge condo layout, something where there's no bedroom. But if we're looking at the studio rents right now, we have a median price point to rent of $2,200 a month. That is down $100 from last month, where it was $2,300 a month. We're down overall, and most likely, if you look at the graph over here, it's following a similar trend to 2022, when prices went up really high in September. In October, they dropped a little bit down and flat for the rest of the year. Now moving on to your 1 bedrooms, we're looking at a median price point to rent a 1 bedroom at $2,500 a month. That's the same as last month, and we're seeing a relatively flat number for 1 bedroom rents. We're probably going to see rents be at about $2,500 a month for the next few months into the new year. For 1+ dens, we saw some declines as well. We're looking at a median price point to rent of $2,700 a month, which is slightly down. You're down about $40 a month in median price point, but it shows as activity kind of slows down into the winter months. That makes more sense. And we're probably going to be flat if you again look at the trends over the past 2 years. We had our peaks in rent in August, and they're coming down slowly, likely to flatten out into the new year. And the last layout we're dealing with is our 2 bedroom, which we have a median price point down about $50 at $3,250 a month, where last month it was $3,300 a month to rent this 2 bedroom. We'll pull up the past 2 years. It's a little bit more volatile with your highs being much higher, and prices tend to come down during the winter. But we are seeing a little bit of a flattening out. And because it's a bit of a higher price point, it does make sense there's a little bit more volatility in that number as well. My overall synopsis or overall summary of what I'm seeing in the rental market right now, dramatically less people will be moving in the winter time and the fall time. We're still technically in the fall, but as we get into the colder months, much less people are moving from the current property over to a new one. So there's less inventory on the market, but there's less tenants moving. And this probably is going to happen into the new year and into, let's say, early spring, where there's a little bit more inventory on the market. I'll even pull up a graph from Twitter, and it shows you the rental inventory is coming up as time goes on. And as time goes on, people may be less motivated to rent at these high prices, and you might see some situations where rents come down a little bit. I don't see a dramatic decrease coming in rent. They probably will stable out into the rest of the winter months. But it does give you an opportunity as a tenant to look at more properties, be able to put offers on different properties, not have to make an impulse decision. I know in the summer months, if you go back to some of my old videos, if you didn't see a property day one and put an offer day one, you weren't going to get the property. So it's definitely a breath of fresh air for clients who want to move in this rental market and find a property that really does suit them. Now moving on to purchasing numbers for these exact same condos. And there definitely are different changes in these prices. It's much more correlates with different indicators. Different segments are doing different things. So it's definitely more interesting. And it would be interesting for you guys comparing those rental numbers to these purchasing numbers for someone who's debating, should I rent or should I buy? Starting with our studio condos. And with the studio condos, it's a much more volatile number. Very few studio condos are transacting every single month. I believe it's about 20 per month I've been seeing over the past little bit. I think this month is 23 condos have transacted. So because there's much fewer condos that are transacting, our number's much more volatile. If you throw up the graph here, you see there's lots of peaks and downs, and they're really jumping around with median price point. So I always take this number with a grain of salt. You're looking at a median price point to purchase a studio condo in Toronto in October for $460,000, which technically is up a little bit from last month, not so much. You'll see over the past 6 months, we have been trending downwards with these prices, not by much, but the long-term trend does show that there have been declines in prices. Moving on to one-bedroom condos. It's a much cleaner picture. We're doing with much more volume in the one-bedroom space. Right now, we're seeing about 200 one-bedrooms transact. You'll see the exact number over here. But we're looking at a median price point to purchase a one-bedroom condo at $550,000. That is down from last month, where the last month's number was $570,000, so down $20,000 for a median price point. And because there's more volume here, it's a little bit more reliable. You'll see the long-term graph that prices have slowly been grinding down since their peak in May, where prices in the overall Toronto real estate market in 2023 were higher. So they've been slowly grinding down, with this month being no exception. Moving on to 1+ dens, we are seeing a bit of a similar picture to the one bedrooms here, where we have a similar amount of volume, more reliability. We're looking at a median price point to purchase a 1-bedroom plus den at $646,000. That is up very slightly from last month, up $1,000. So with that month over month change being so little, we're seeing the market be pretty flat, very grindy. We're not seeing major changes. We're showing that prices since the peak, let's say, of May and June, they've come down slowly since then, but not very quickly, very gradually. And the same thing is happening with our 2 bedrooms, with a median price point for a 2-bedroom being $737,000. We technically are up from last month, where last month we were at $728,000 for a median price point for a 2-bed. Prices are up. If you look on a long-term trend, you'll see that they were grinding down as well. I think we probably want to see a little bit more volume and a little bit more time. I think there's just about, it's under 300 properties that sold last month in 2 bedrooms. The most condos that have sold have been 2 bedrooms as well. So that's the most popular layout, at least on the purchasing end. So we're seeing prices slowly grind down, with this month being a bit of an exception, prices going up. But I imagine long-term prices as we get into November, December will be going down slowly. Now, my summary on the purchasing market as well is these numbers are a bit surprising to me. We really haven't seen major decreases in price. What I'm seeing in the market right now is a ton of opportunity out there. There's a ton of inventory out there. One graph I'm going to pull up, you'll see right in front of me, is from my buddy Rob Marsiglio, who always tracks inventory on the market. You'll see that blue line heading up. We have over 6 months of inventory of condos on the market. And that number essentially is calculated by the number of properties that are selling and the number of properties currently on the market. So there is 6 months of total inventory in the market. So there's 6 months of these current levels of buyers on the market. So it's a lot of properties. There's a lot of properties for people to choose from, and definitely not a seller's market in any sense when it comes to Toronto condos. But that's why I thought maybe you would see major declines in condo prices, but they're very much flat. I guess we're not seeing condo owners give in. They're not willing to sacrifice their list price for what's going on. But with such a low inventory market compared to what we usually see on the purchasing end, that makes some sense. But I'm definitely a little bit surprised, and I'm kind of looking out to see if we are going to see some major decreases in price as we get to winter, because the motivated people may have to sell at a major discount. So only time will tell with that one, but it definitely feels on the boots on the ground, condo prices are dropping more than they're showing in the numbers. But that's why it's a long-term game. You got to look at things on a month-to-month basis, not just 1 month. That's my rambling today. I hope my stats and my numbers were helpful to give you a sense of what's going on in the Toronto condo market. If you have any questions about the Toronto condo market or the Toronto real estate market as a whole for a first-time buyer, like I said, in my description, you have my phone number, my email, and a link to book a call with me there as well. You're happy to reach out and talk about becoming a future homeowner and a first-time buyer in Toronto. I do this all the time. I also have first-time buyer webinars every last Thursday of the month. So if you want to join one of those, send me a text. I'll get you on the list to get you a Zoom link to that. Happy to help some first-time buyers. Excited to get into 2024 and help more people with their first-time buying goals. Follow me on Instagram. We have a ton of videos every single week. And if you want to learn more, again, I have all the information there. Enjoy the rest of the day. Talk to you next week. Have a good one. Bye.